The X stands for value. Hi guys, Eric here and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be having a look at this 2021 Nissan X-Trail 1.6 dCi Tekna. It is equipped with a very refined 1.6 litre diesel engine and it represents quite decent value. The general design is also almost 8 years old. How does it stack up? The X-Trail is a crossover SUV designed and built by famous Japanese car manufacturer Nissan. It slots in locally above the smaller Qashqai and below the Navara-based Pathfinder. It was introduced to the world for the first time in September 2000. It was based on Nissan's FFS platform that also underpins the Almera as well as the Primera. It was available locally with a 2-litre and a 2.5-litre naturally aspirated petrol engine with 103 kilowatt and 132 kilowatt respectively, as well as a 2.2-litre turbo diesel that produced 84 kilowatt and 247 Nm of torque. When the X-Trail received its facelift in 2003, the engine received a variable turbocharger and power was up to 100 kilowatts and 300 Nm. All models were available with a 4-wheel drive system that can be electronically engaged, but it did lack a low-range transfer case. It was a massive success in South Africa, with 15,000 units sold locally. Of the first generation, there were two really interesting additions. One is the GT model that was only available in Japan. It was fitted with a 2-litre turbocharged petrol engine that developed a blistering 206 kilowatt. The other, which is monumental in my opinion, is the X-Trail FCV. It was fitted with a hydrogen fuel cell, essentially an electric vehicle with its own generator. Best part is that the only byproduct of generating that electricity is water. Amazing. In 2008, the second generation arrived on our shores. It looked very similar to its predecessor. Initially, there was only 2 petrol engines offered. One was a new 2-litre that was jointly developed by Nissan and Renault. It produced 108 kilowatt and 199 Nm of torque. A revised version of the 2.5-litre Nissan QR engine was carried over from the previous generation. It was detuned though from 132 to 125 kilowatt. In June of that year, a 2-litre turbo diesel was added to the lineup. It produced 110 kilowatt and 320 Nm of torque. All but the entry-level 2-litre XE had intelligent 4-wheel drive. It was praised for its fantastic ride and good road handling. In 2013 internationally and 2014 locally, this third generation was unveiled. It was a massive departure from its predecessor, with the exterior looking far more urban and feminine. It is based on Renault-Nissan's CMF-CD platform that also underpins the Qashqai and Renault Kadjar. Both petrol engines were carried over from its predecessor, but a new 1.6-litre dCi turbo diesel engine was made available with this iteration. We have the top-of-the-range 1.6 dCi 4x4 Tekna. In this, guys, it looks really good, with splashes of chrome dotted about and very big 19-inch dual-color wheels. The exterior looks attractive without drawing too much attention to itself. I like the thin headlights that are slanted slightly to give it an aggressive face. The rear is more rounded and reminds me of an early 2000s Almera hatchback. I personally feel as though the X-Trail has a rental car image, probably because it is available to rent from some rental agencies. As someone who loved to stand out, I haven't exactly fallen in love with its looks. Thankfully, I don't need to. There are loads of people out there who love to fly under the radar, which might explain why the X-Trail remains a success. What is the interior like though? Even though the outside of the X-Trail have become quite feminine over the years, in here there is still a definite sense of utility, accented by this massive dial that controls the 4x4 drivetrain. Now, at first glance, this cabin might look a tad dated, but it is important to remember that the original design dates all the way back to 2013, and that is reflected by the price of a new one, with the X-Trail undercutting almost every rival by a considerable margin. And don't think that the X-Trail is sparsely equipped either. As standard on this Tekna model, you get a 360-degree camera, lane departure warning, blind spot monitoring, forward collision warning, auto emergency braking, rear cross traffic alert, electronic stability control, ABS with electronic brake distribution, automatic wipers and headlights, cruise control, dual zone automatic climate control, a navigation system with Bluetooth audio, and a panoramic sunroof. Then there are some neat touches like the piano black plastic trim that frames the air vents, the navigation and infotainment system, the climate control panel, as well as the gear lever. Personally, I have always preferred a cabin with flair. The X-Trail has a definite function over form theme going, however, but that will suit quite a lot of people perfectly. Ergonomically speaking, everything is where you expect it to be, and all the controls are easily within reach. Now, fit and finish might not be as good as some German and South Korean products, but it is by no means unacceptable. Everything feels solidly put together, and materials used, especially the plastics on top of the dash and the doors, feel sturdy and even a bit premium. The door panel looks rather feminine in its design, with a lot of swoops and gentle curves. There are soft touch plastics on top of the doors, a metallic graphite strip that frames the metal door handle, and a well padded armrest that is wrapped in faux leather. The rest of the door is made up of hard black plastic. The buttons for the front and rear electric windows, as well as the electrically adjustable door mirrors, feel suitably rugged, if lacking some dampening. One issue I do have though is the front door pockets are rather small, especially for a car in this segment. This steering wheel looks really sporty, even if the flat bottom design clashes a bit with the no-nonsense theme coming from the rest of the cabin. Still, it looks thoroughly modern, and the rim is wrapped in premium leather. All the buttons on the steering wheel give great feedback and are a joy to push. The stalks offer good dampening, and it is very clearly labelled. Move your gaze upwards and you notice that these analog dials are extremely clean and easy to read. White digits on a black background, absolutely perfect. You also have a temperature gauge to your left and an analog fuel gauge to your right. In between these neat dials, you find a full color driver's information display. This display communicates a full trip computer, driving aids, 4x4 info, as well as audio information. The screen does look a tad dated though. Speaking of screens, the center infotainment system is packed with features. It has smartphone integration, a USB input, an auxiliary port, Bluetooth audio, and a CD player. It also has a built-in navigation system, and it displays an on-demand 360-degree angle camera. It is responsive to my touch, and loading times are kept low. The graphics does look a bit outdated, however, and the screen is rather small compared to its contemporaries. The sound system is really loud though, in all the right ways. The climate controls are really easy to understand, and the dot matrix screen is clean and simple. These seats are so comfortable. They are soft and yielding, yet provide good side bolstering. They are a mix of perforated and non-perforated leather and are accented by grey top stitching. When it comes to storage solution, the Nissan performs rather well. You have access to a rather large, well-dampened glove box, 2 deep and wide ventilated cup holders, a tray in front of the gear lever, as well as a humongous storage area underneath the center armrest. The only drawback are those aforementioned door pockets, which are just a bit too small for a car in this segment. This must be the most spacious rear bench I have come across since I started this reviewing channel. The front seat is set in my driving position. I am 179 centimeters. I have acres of leg space. I can also slide my feet underneath the front seat for extra comfort. There is also enough headroom, even with the panoramic sunroof fitted. 6 footers will be more than fine back here, but that is not all. These seats are so comfortable. The door's armrests are well padded. Rear passengers have access to their very own armrest and even their very own climate vents. Storage is a hit and miss back here though. You have a storage pocket behind each front seat, 2 cup holders hidden in the center armrest, and really small door pockets. Still, these seats can slide forward and backward to increase loading space, and the seat backs can even recline a bit, which makes a big difference comfort-wise. Now this is a 5-seater model, but if you have a big family because you don't own a television, there is a 7-seater available, and that model will eat a bit into your boot space. Speaking of which, the boot is a massive size of 565 litres. You also have access to 4 tethering hooks as well as a 12-volt socket. The rear seats fold down in a 60-40 split, with the center armrest acting as a ski hatch. After folding those seats down, there is no ridge that hinders through loading, nor is there any load lip, so you can easily slide things out of the boot. Underneath the carpeted boot floor, you will even find a full-size spare tire. Excellent practicality. Considering the size of the X-Trail, you'd be forgiven for thinking that it would be a chore to drive around town. But you will be pleasantly surprised by how capable this admittedly large SUV navigates the urban jungle. This is thanks to a very strong engine, good all-round visibility, and light controls. You also get a 360-degree camera as well as a decent turning circle. Low-speed ride is excellent with a softly sprung suspension and extremely comfortable seats. The only thing that I'm missing is front and rear park distance control. Also, I would have preferred a bit more dampening to the gearbox, as it currently feels a bit notchy and even a bit loose. The clutch also takes rather low, but you will get used to that after a while. Now, the X-Trail was never built to be a mountain pass stormer, and it shows. There isn't much in the way of feedback coming from the steering, and this gearbox does not like to be rushed. Still, even with the softly sprung suspension, there isn't too much body roll in the corners. Also, the engine provides quite a bit of torque to push you out of them. Out on the open road is where the X-Trail truly shines. The cabin is extremely well insulated from the outside world, with very little wind, road, or tire noise. The engine remains quiet and refined, and provides enough torque to not only keep up with traffic, but overtake when the opportunity arises. These seats remain comfortable and supportive. The X-Trail has all the attributes that make for a great long-distance cruiser. Now, personally, I would have preferred my X-Trail with a more daring design, inside and out. But the great thing about beauty is that it is in the eye of the beholder. Look past its rental car image and rather dated cabin, and you're presented with a crossover that is extremely capable, practical, comfortable, and one that represents great value. It even comes equipped with a 6-year 200,000 kilometer warranty and a 3-year 90,000 kilometer service plan. Well done, Nissan. Thank you so much for watching another one of my reviews. If you enjoyed it, remember to give this video a thumbs up. It makes a huge difference on my channel. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and be notified of upcoming videos. I have loads more coming up. If you are interested in some behind the scenes footage and maybe a peek into my personal life, be sure to check out my social media platforms, links in the description box below. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time, bye.